All right, we got Iverson and Hodges together. I want y'all to listen up because, shit about to get real. Things about to escalate definitely in the next few weeks. Giving all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakahak Wadash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere shalom, labakarium, shal yasha'Allah, that's peace to the elect of the nation of Israel. It's going down. They bringing out some good information. We're going to get right into this video. I want to start with this scripture here. This scripture been on my mind all morning. As we, we looking at people, going about their day, they shopping. Some people preparing for the 4th of July. Memorial Day is coming up. So, that's when Jake get a little loose. Want to let your hair down and not knowing this is going to be a wild, wild summer. And it's going to lead right into this dark winter that Joe Biden used to speak about. Things are really, really going to take a turn for the worse, and it's going to be an overnight thing. There ain't going to be no warnings because we are close. This is 2 Ezra 16 verse 20. But all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness. Let me just shut this off here. Right? Nor be always mindful of the scourges in people, because the destruction that's coming upon planet Earth, it's a back and forth thing. You may hear something that's hitting, the media is dragging it for about 2-3 weeks, then they drop it and they turn to something else. So the anxiety that the people had for that main event goes away, and then they relax. We can let our hair down, and then something else pops off, or the same event comes back 10 times stronger. See, this is where people are going to get caught off guard in that little gray area they built for themselves. So when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction, the Lord lets us know it's going to be in that area where it looks calm. The day is going great. You think you got some money in your pocket, and it's going to change. It doesn't take a lot. One thing can change everything in one day. They showed you that with 9/11. One day changed the future after 9/11, September 11th. So it says once again, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. But victuals shall be so cheap, good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And that's been happening. Used to go to the store and dollar menus and two for one, and car prices was low. Go anywhere, get an apartment. But now we see the inflation on a massive scale. And what's going on when you look at this video and hear this here, ain't gonna be no more comfortable afternoons, comfortable mornings, comfortable nights. Because the Lord going to dry up all this food that's in this country. The Lord going to dry up all the dainty things. Won't be no more, well, let me grab the kids and go to Mickey D's. To eat for a family of 4 at Mickey D's going to run you $200-$300. That's a gourmet meal. This is how bad this thing is about to hit. And we talking weeks, a few months away. If your eyes are paying attention, the grocery store's shelves are going empty. But Esau is still building, giving you hope. Oh, they opening up a new Target. Oh, they opening up a new BJ's. Giving you hope, not knowing those box stores right there, you won't be able to enter in without that mark of the beast, that digital device real soon. So it says, did I lose? Yeah. 1 second. I knew this was going to happen. It jumped on me. Hold on. Okay. So it says, but victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow. And it's growing. It's one thing after the next. Look at, they got about 4 X diseases out right now. This Ebola now was a worldwide event. And they'll shut this planet down over that Ebola. They'll shut it down. There's so many things that's popping off right now. Okay? So evils are growing. Sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of this famine that's coming. And we're going to look at in this video, a lot of people are about to starve to death. They're not planning. It's going to start with the elderly first. You know, certain prisoners are not going to be fed. That's in prison. You can kiss your so-called loved ones that's locked up doing 7, 8, 10, whatever, 15 years. They ain't gonna worry about feeding these prisoners, man. Because when that food stops shipping, it stops shipping to the nursing homes. It stops shipping to the prisons. It stops shipping to these hospitals. Oh, yeah, these hospitals are not, there ain't no hospitality in these damn hospitals, man. So if the food not there, the food ain't there. These patients just won't eat. You're going to have to come up and care for your loved ones. These nursing homes. They're called the weak. Those are the weak. The prisoners are the weak. Then they're going to start starving out the school system. No more breakfast program. No more lunch program for little Poogie and little Ray Ray and Felipe. Now they got to eat at home. Because a lot of you moms get off with sending your kids to school just to eat. We ain't gonna be no go to school in the morning and eat breakfast and pack an extra bag to bring home from the lunch program. The shipping around of the food in Great Babylon, the Lord said, I'm gonna break the staff, man. The staff of bread is about to fall off. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. And the other that escaped the hunger shall the sword destroy. And this is where we at right now. The hunger and the sword is about to come on this place, man. Our Lord is not playing. I want you to pay attention to what Dave Hodges got to say, man.
All right, we are joined by Dave Hodges, independent journalist, former award-winning psychology professor, and the host of the Common Sense Show. Dave, you say that if the war in Iran doesn't end by Memorial Day, then we're going to see the decline of the U.S. at the 4th of July.
Yeah, these are approximation figures, but people got to realize oil tankers move at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So they can take 3 months in transit, and if they have any stops, it can even be longer. We're living right now on borrowed oil, and here's something that doesn't get explained in the mainstream media properly. People say, oh, we're oil independent. Well, it's true. We have more oil than we can consume on a daily basis. But a lot of that oil is heavy crude, and a lot of our refineries aren't set to handle that. So we import better quality oil from the Middle East that we use domestically. We export a lot of the heavy crude. But if that oil is not coming to us through the Strait of Hormuz, which is 95% closed and has been since February 28th, then we have to rely on our oil reserves or the tankers that are in transit right now from the time of delivery prior to the war starting to now. And we're reaching that point over the next 7 to 10 days. We're reaching the point where we're living on totally borrowed oil. And the government's not going to let its strategic oil reserves become seriously depleted, because what if China gets aggressive with Taiwan? The military will need that oil. And I think we're looking at the very strong possibility that if we don't resolve this by the end of this month, by the end of June, July 4th, in that time frame, we might start to see roving blackouts. We're going to see shortages. And if diesel goes above $6.50, I've had truckers tell me this by the dozens, that their drop dead price is $6.50. What happens to the just-in-time deliveries for medicine and food to the retail outlets if they're not delivering? I mean, we're reaching a real crisis point, and it won't come progressively, Kim. There'll be a point, and this is what economists have explained to me, there'll come a point when all these factors come together, and you might go to bed on Friday and wake up to a different world on Monday.
You hear that? You hear that? Just 24 hours. This is how the Lord is going to set this up. He was warning, as a thief in the night. You may go to bed Friday, and they like setting this off on the weekend. They love it. You may go to bed Friday and wake up on Monday in a whole nother world. And this is why the people say their hearts are going to faint for fear, because they're not ready for this. You're not prepared for something like this. The majority of people don't even look at the news because they hate to be disappointed and see their world crumbling. So they don't even look at the news. They don't even know about the viruses. They don't even know about the oil shortages. AutoZone put out a memo saying that, expect oil shortages and all this auto zones around the country. People don't know nothing about this. So when they wake up and there's bars and cages down on the stores and trucks are not moving because they said diesel one hit $6.50. Now I know in California it got to be damn near there or over $6.50 in California, because diesel out here is damn near $6 on the East Coast. So what are they going to do when your job turn you around? America runs on wheels. You coming to work like it's a regular day. You're not paying attention to the news. You're not listening to the prophets of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, blow this trumpet. And then they turn you around. They say, there's no work for the rest of this week due to the oil prices. Shit is getting that serious. You preparing yourself in the spirit for all hell to break loose at this point, man. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:1. Now concerning how and when all this will happen, brothers and sisters, we don't really need to write to you. Who is that talking about? The brothers, which is the Akim and the Akwaf that's in the know. Mainly the Akim. The Lord has invested a lot of power in his men with the eye salve. That's why, the men stay on fire. We constantly think about these scriptures. We constantly praying. We constantly repenting. We're going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole of Yahweh Shah. That's investing a lot of time into his elect. His elect is hand-picking. Yahweh Ratazah. I'm part of that number. I'm part of y'all, man. We pray because we know this thing is going to happen. Yeah, we sound like a broken record. That's the job. The DJ spins the records over and over. And you play with the crowd like that. In a minute, there shall be a desire for this wine. There'll be a desire for this new song real soon. But a lot of people won't get a chance to hear it. It's going to be too late. For you know quite well that the day of the Lord's return, how many people know that Yahweh Shah is on his way back? Not a lot. Should I find faith on the earth when I get here? Yahweh Shah said. Only the Lord's elect, which is called the remnant for a reason, very small, are looking up to this sky and anticipating our Lord's return. And it looks like this. Once this kingdom takes the fall and the big guns come out, they got to switch the system. Get you off this oil system and get you into this digital crypto system, man. So they breaking all the oil refineries. This is what they doing. They sweeping the world of oil. How many people know that? Man, it's going to be the panic that's about to set in with these people, man. They preparing for Memorial Day. For you know quite well that the day of Yahweh's return will come unexpectedly. Unexpectedly. That's a serious word. Let me do this. The day of the Lord will come unexpectedly to you people, man. You know? Let me see. Unexpected. Unexpected. Not look for. This is the etymology. Not look for or foreseen. And when you foresee something, you see it ahead of time. It's the etymology. They can't find that word. define. Okay, they don't have. So not foreseen meaning to see ahead of time, right? Let's see what else they got here. Unexpected, defer action, not look for. Unexpected, not notice. Surprise. It's gonna be a surprise. Okay, we get it. They tearing up this etymology dictionary here. At least this app. They removing all kind of stuff. But anyway, so this day of the Lord will come unexpectedly, not looked for, not foreseen, like a thief in the night. Now, why do a thief move at night? You see, he called a cat burglar for a reason. He want to be undetected, in and out. Most people are not going to know what hit him because it's going to be one thing after the next. Just like the scriptures tell you. It's going to be like as if you was battling a lion, right? A very young lion, healthy, strong, full of pride, and you managed to get away from this lion. And now you meet a bear coming out of hibernation. He's slim, trim, and he hungry. He and his grizzly, and you managed to get away from the bear. Then you get home, you resting, and a serpent, a poisonous serpent, has been waiting for your arrival. And you lay your hand on the wall, and that serpent just pounces on you, man. Meaning there's going to be no escape for these people. One thing after the next. This is serious business, man. That's unexpectedly like a thief in the night when people are saying everything is peaceful. This is how you're going to get you. That gray area. You know, these people love living in that gray area. This is just my zone. This is my circle, right? This is how I live, how I see life. Well, all that's about to stop. That little bubble you live in on your phone, your little social media bubble, these groups that these women are involved in, they got a group for everything. Oh, all that's about to pop. Now you're going to live in our world. You're going to see what we see, at least some of the things we see. You live it in prophecy. And this is biblical times. A lot of y'all like to separate today's world from the Bible. You can't do that because today's world is from the Bible. It was written in the Bible first. Technology does not take you out of prophecy. Technology is in the book. Just because we have driving cars and airplanes that fly does not exit us from the scriptures. No, we're all still biblical figures, and the times that we in is prophesied in the Bible. That's why the Lord got to open your eyes and open your ears so you can hear and see. So it says when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them as suddenly as a pregnant woman's labor pains begin. And there will be no escape. There's going to be no escape for these people, the elderly. You're going to watch these people die. Your family members, you're going to watch them starve and die. Your government is going to abandon you real soon. They worrying about this continuity of government. These politicians do not love you. Your vote never counted. How can you ask someone to vote when they don't even know about politics? They don't even know what they're voting for. This whole voting thing was a scheme, a system to make you feel good about your fraud called democracy. It's a fraud. None of these people, these Babylonians, know anything about anything other than getting up, doing a regular trade every day and buying some food and living good and acting very arrogant and proud. That's one thing they got down pat is the arrogancy and the pride that's on these people. But see, the Lord about to stop all that because it says, and there will be no escape. So that you hear what Dave Hodges, analyst now. You know, I follow him too. You know, got to say, and this is fair use. Fair use is for educational purposes only. You know, because this is only for the ears of the faithful, man. Time is short.
I just wonder how we're going to get out of this. You know, it's like, I hear you.
Ain't no getting out.
I understand there's some serious implications here for the economy. Obviously, I think Trump knows this as well. But getting out of this seems really, really challenging because Iran really does seem to have the upper hand, and they're using it, right? They're not really giving Trump an out, and Trump needs to save face somehow. I mean, there cannot be, he's not really able to end this war without saving face, and it doesn't seem like Iran is going to let him at this point. I mean, they might, but they would have to have a motivation to do that. And I think in their mind, they would think, well, if we allow him to save face somehow, like they've done in the past, then this will just keep happening again and again. And so I think they're probably having a big struggle and conversations and debates inside of their own hierarchy there in Iran. That's like, do we allow, are we going to let this happen to us again or not? And I think the answer for most of them is no, we're never going to let this happen to us again.
I would respond this way. A very astute reporter off camera, so we don't know who it was, asked President Trump, and this is played all over, are you going to enlist the help of President Xi in ending the war in Iran? He goes, well, we don't need China for that. We're not going to do that. We've got it under control. We don't have it under control. And I can tell you, Kim, I am convinced, and it's my strong belief based on what I know, that their number one topic right now is stopping the war in Iran. And I'm sure the Trump card, no pun intended here, he's telling Xi, we can shut the whole thing down. If you don't help us get Iran to stop this, and you're their major ally, we can shut the whole thing down. And I think that's the major point of discussion behind closed doors. And obviously the second point of discussion will be, what kind of trade and barter are we going to do for Taiwan? I don't think we would see a direct giveaway of Taiwan and we tell China, go ahead and invade, but we could do things like cut back on offensive weapons to Taiwan and make them more vulnerable that way over a period of time. And I think that's probably the second focus of their discussion. And then third, what we're hearing about in the media is probably accurate too. What are they going to charge for tariffs? What are our trade agreements going to be? Is China going to buy all these soybeans? But the major deal right now, I guarantee you behind closed doors, is what's going to happen with this war. And Xi and
But
Trump.
what can China even do?
Well, I think China can tell Iran at some point, back down or we're going to join the U.S. And I think that would make Iran capitulate. I think that's the only thing that's going to capitulate.
But what would motivate China? I mean, China would have to have a real reason to want to do that. And what do you think would be a good enough, I guess, carrot to get China to even want to side with the U.S. on this? I mean, because right now this is benefiting China. The U.S. is entangled in a war, so the U.S. cannot do anything about Taiwan. I mean, that now we are occupied doing some other things. This also benefits Russia in that way as well, right? The U.S. is tied up in its own engagement, its own war. Secondly, this is collapsing the U.S. economy, which only benefits also the Chinese economy. Mm-hmm. So they're able to rise faster, which they're already going to rise. They're already going to overtake us as the world's biggest economy. But this helps accelerate that. It helps accelerate the collapse of the dollar. I mean, I don't see a motivation for China to say, because, and right now with the reporting, we don't know. But with the reporting, it just seems like China just said, sure, yeah, good luck. We wish you the best. That's what it kind of sounds like they're saying.
Yeah, so we're seeing the fall of our enemy. And this is how it looks. It looks good. See, we at the break of prophecy. And this was all foretold in the scriptures. The Lord is breaking Babylon down slowly but surely, and it's all falling apart. And now that pride, because you can see on Iverson's face, she just like, look, don't feed me the bullshit. This is definitely benefiting China in all ways, will show you that the elites at the top, that they're divided with this whole New World Order thing. And that meeting was set up through the bankers with the U.S. and China. All these guys, the prime ministers, these are all puppets. They all work for the bankers, man, the Rothschilds. Y'all know the names, the figures, that's behind the scene. And then you got your Howard that's pulling their strings. So this whole thing is crumbling. And they're going to still make a run for it because the Lord controls the minds of these kings. The Lord is controlling everything. Matter of fact, Let me just get that before I read this scripture over here in Jeremiah. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is in charge, man. That's why we have a more sure word of prophecy. This is Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart, sorry. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Let me AMP this. Let me see something here. The king's heart is like channels of water in the hand of the Lord. Yeah, I like that. GNT. The Lord controls the mind of a king as easily as he directs the course of the stream, man. You know the Lord said he has his way in the whirlwind and in these storms. The Lord activates, hurricanes, tornadoes, and he controls, earthquakes. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah controls that. He said, just as easy as I can control that, I control the kings, which are the rulers, prime ministers, ambassadors, presidents, the Illuminati, as everybody like to say, the Illuminati was behind it. Well, no, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah was behind it. He controls who you think is the Lucifers or the illuminated ones. Read it again. Yahweh controls the mind of a king as easily as he directs the course of a stream. You may think that everything you do is right, but remember, the Lord judges our motives. The Lord is involved with everything. I think they did a scientific study to show that the brain thinks about something 11 seconds before you do it. Something on that order there. But there's something happening spiritually, internally, before you even snap your fingers. And that goes into predestination. They don't want to bring it to you like that the Lord directs everything. He's in every detail of our lives. But we, the hopeful elect, we understand that everything is predestined. Everything is laid out. Proverbs 20:24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can he understand his own way? We understand that clearly. So we ain't worrying about it like that. We enjoying watching the show, but we watching it from behind the scenes, which is these scriptures here, because we have a more sure word of prophecy. The Lord is in control of the collapse of all these empires, because Yahweh Shah is about to come and crown himself over these devils, man. This is the day we in. This is beautiful. So yeah, prepare for panic, man. Prepare for lots and lots of panic as we end this month out, go into June, go into July, when people really start noticing, something's wrong with the gasoline. They adding all kind of additives in there. You're going to get your oil changed. You got to come back next week. People going to start carpooling. A lot of these truckers, they're going to be sent home. They got to pull this off the road, pull that off the road. And at the same time, Ebola is making a run for it. And the Hunter virus. And whatever else they are spraying in the air. Civil war, the war in Russia, it's escalating. The war down there, Iran is still on. And then America, which we're going to get into in a second, just ran a serious nuclear test, Minuteman test last night, alongside of Russia. They ran it together. So yeah, we at the fall of you damn Edomites, man. And this is a beautiful thing. Let me read this here. This is, check this out. All right, this is Revelations 18, verse 1. I'm going to read this in the GNT. It says, after this, I saw another angel come down from heaven. He had great authority, and his splendor brightened the whole earth. He cried out in a loud voice, saying, she has fallen. Who is this? This is America in the scriptures. She's known as a madam that controls a whorehouse and that sits along with her beasts. She's the rider of the beast, which is the EU and NATO, the whole system. And they ride the waves, which are the people, the waters of the people. And they go and give orders according to Revelation 16. Those 3 frogs, they go out and give orders to the other nations, man, which would be Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Japan, China. That meeting you just saw, that's part of the elites giving the orders, man, pulling the strings, making these moves. This is what's going on. So it says, after this, I saw another angel come down out of heaven. He had great authority, and his splendor brightened the whole earth. He cried out with a loud voice, she, America, has fallen. Great Babylon. This ain't talking about ancient Babylon. Mind you, we damn near 600-700 years in the future from ancient Babylon when this was written down in the 1st century AD. So Babylon wasn't even, ancient Babylon, which is Iraq today, wasn't even a factor when John was given this prophecy. So what Babylon was he talking about? And why did he have to say great? Because all the ships come here. The export, the import industry is banging here. This is where, these nations were made millionaires from America. Not from the Vatican. And definitely not from Iraq. So what Babylon, great Babylon, is it talking about? It's got to be talking about somewhere where you can get wealthy, where you can become a billionaire. And how did China become the 2nd largest economy in the world? Fulfilling American invoices. So they're eating off this place, man. This is great Babylon. All the indicators point here. So it says, he cried out with a loud voice. Hold on a second.
Did you get the Slack I sent 20 minutes ago?
Nah. See, ready? All right,
She's been ready, and the daughter is in my face.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can't wait anymore. You have to come upstairs and
Okay, I'm coming right now. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is, Eve. I work with her, man. I got my phone on quiet or whatever. Don't disturb. I'm gonna finish this out. But as y'all can see, we in that day. Serious day. Okay, for all the nations have drunken her wine, the strong wine of her immortal lust. The kings of the earth practiced sexual immortality with her, and the merchants of the world grew rich from her unstrained lust. So we're going to end it right there. We have this plantation, so giving all the praise and all the honor and all the glory. This is a beautiful day. Things like this, interrupting, the minute of the Lord, we got things we got to go through to get through it. All this about to stop. Working at these plantations, we about to have a lot of free time to vibe and get connected to the spirit of Yahushua real soon, because this thing is going down. And these people with their arrogancy, right? Because I'm sure she looks stressful. She going through it because people are just selfish. They about to feel this pain. But we winning, Akim, giving all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone who told us this truth. A sincere shalom, labakarium, shah yash Allah. That's peace to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.